The medical bay of the Zephyrian flagship Celestial Dawn hummed with alien technology that Ryan still didn't fully understand, even after 3 months of captivity. The crystalline healing pods cast an ethereal blue glow across the pristine white walls, and the air carried that strange ozone scent that all Zephyrian vessels seem to possess. Ryan flexed his newly regenerated arm, marveling at how perfectly the alien medicine had restored what should have been a career-ending injury. The plasma burns that had nearly killed him during the Battle of Kepler 442 were now just phantom memories, though the psychological scars ran deeper than any alien technology could heal. "The Queen wishes to see you," announced Veltar, the towering Zephyrian guard whose forearms and crystalline exoskeleton made him look like a living sculpture. Despite his fearsome appearance, Ryan had learned that Veltar was remarkably gentle for a warrior species that had conquered half the known galaxy. Ryan nodded, straightening his provided uniform, a sleek black outfit that was far more comfortable than anything Earth's military had ever issued him. As they walked through the ship's corridors, he caught glimpses of other humans through reinforced viewports. Not prisoners exactly, but not free either. All of them were survivors from various battles where humans had shown what the Zephyrians called impossible valor. The Queen's chamber was a vast space, filled with floating crystalline formations that pulsed with soft light. Queen Zarathiel sat upon a throne that seemed to be carved from a single massive diamond, her 6-foot frame draped in robes that shifted color like liquid starlight. Her daughter, Princess Emma, stood beside the throne, and Ryan's heart clenched as always when he saw her. Emma looked human enough, 2 arms, 2 legs, a face that could have belonged to any Earthwoman in her 20s. But her skin held in subtle iridescent quality, and her eyes were pools of silver that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. She was the product of the Zephyrians' most ambitious experiment, a hybrid created to bridge the gap between their species and humanity. Ryan Torres of Earth. Queen Zarathiel's voice resonated through the chamber with harmonics that seemed to bypass his ears and speak directly to his bones. "You have recovered well." "Thank you, Your Majesty." Ryan had learned the proper protocols during his stay. "Though I still don't understand why you saved me." The Queen's expression, insofar as her crystalline features could show expression, grew thoughtful. "You threw yourself between my daughter and a plasma cannon, a weapon that would have vaporized you instantly. You knew this, yet you acted without hesitation." Ryan's memories of that battle were fragmented. The human colony on Kepler 442 had been under siege for weeks when the Zephyrian diplomatic vessel arrived. What was supposed to be a peaceful first contact had turned into chaos when radical human factions opened fire, and Emma had been caught in the crossfire. "She didn't deserve to die for her father's diplomatic mission," Ryan said simply. "And I was a soldier. It's what soldiers do." "No," Emma spoke for the first time, her voice carrying her mother's harmonic undertones but with a distinctly human warmth. "What you did transcended duty. You showed mercy to what your species considered an enemy." Queen Zarathiel rose from her throne, her movements fluid despite her imposing size. "This is why you cannot leave, Ryan Torres. You represent something precious, proof that our species can coexist, perhaps even thrive together." Ryan had suspected this was coming. Over the months he'd noticed the pattern. Humans who showed exceptional courage or compassion in battle weren't just healed and released. They were kept, studied, treated well, but never allowed to return home. "Your Majesty, with respect, I'm not a diplomatic solution. I'm just a grunt who did his job. You are far more than that." The Queen moved closer, and Ryan felt the subtle energy field that surrounded all Zephyrians. "My daughter speaks of you constantly. She has never shown such interest in any being, human or Zephyrian." Emma's iridescent skin darkened. What Ryan had learned was their equivalent of blushing. "Mother, it is not shameful, child. You are the future of both our species. And this human," she gestured toward Ryan, "he may be the key to that future." Ryan felt a chill despite the warm air. "You're talking about breeding programs." "I speak of choice," the Queen corrected. "Emma was created to be a bridge between worlds. But she cannot fulfill that purpose alone. We have observed human courage, human loyalty, human love. These are qualities that could strengthen our people." "And what about my choice?" Ryan asked, though he already knew the answer. Emma stepped forward, her silver eyes meeting his. "You have a choice, Ryan, more than any other human here, because She paused, struggling with words that didn't seem to exist in either language. Because I have chosen you. The weight of her statement settled over the chamber like a heavy blanket. Ryan looked around at the alien splendor surrounding him, then back at Emma. In her hybrid features, he saw something that reminded him of every human he'd ever fought to protect. The war between our species continues, Queen Zarathiel said softly. But here, in this moment, we have the opportunity to plant seeds of something better. You defended my daughter with your life, Ryan Torres. Now I ask you to help her build a future where such defense is no longer necessary. Ryan closed his eyes, thinking of Earth, of the family he might never see again, of the life he'd left behind. When he opened them, Emma was still watching him with those impossible silver eyes, and he realized that sometimes the greatest act of courage wasn't throwing yourself in front of a plasma cannon. Sometimes it was simply choosing to stay. I'll need to contact my family, he said finally. Let them know I'm alive. Emma's face lit up with joy that transcended species barriers, while Queen Zarathiel nodded approvingly. Of course, the Queen said. After all, if our species are to unite, we must do so honestly. As Ryan looked at Emma's radiant smile, he wondered if this was how all the greatest changes in history began. Not with grand declarations or dramatic battles, but with a single person choosing hope over fear, love over duty, and an uncertain future over a familiar past. The war would continue, but perhaps in this crystalline chamber light years from home, something better was finally beginning.